Hello, Hare Krishna.
Haribol, Hare Krishna, Namaste.
Dr. Lawrence, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Oh,
Hare Krishna. Haribol.
nice to see you all.
Thank you, Maharaja. Happy to see you. And you and devotees.
Hariyananda Prabhu ki jai. Ananditya Tiri ki jai. Bhagavad
Jai.
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 Priyadarshini Didi ki jai.
Jai.
Didi ki jai.
Jai. Jai Gurudev.
Jai.
Jai all devotees in the Zoom meeting. Jai. How are you, Maharaj?
And good, Prabhu, thank you. By your grace, by the grace of Krishna Kesava, all the devotees, Krishna's grace, Mahaprabhu's grace, Shanta Maharaja's grace, what I do without everyone. Okay, we're a little start with a little late. We'll start with Vandana.
Okay, Maharaj.
Vandeham.
Siguro.
Vaishnavamsha
Jatam Sagana
Dansaiva
Advaitam
Advaitam
Savaduta.
Saraswat
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Radha Krishna Pada Agana
Vidam Vidam Shah
Om
Pandita Mahabhava Murkaya Sada Porpapoya Parampara Prachalita Panya Pravarta Krite Bhakti Nivita Vande Shri Ananta Shira Varvadishta Guru Gana Shisha Sambhusham Kintya Govinda Bidam Urvalam Bharatam Bhakti-amritam Sundaram Vande Vishnu Bhagavad Prem Devam Divyatram Saranam Balarkachem Sandranam Shri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhashi Kasitam Vande Tam Vedika Sharanam Yashishwaram Shri Siddhanta
Saraswati
Bhakta Ayavada Indulogarajakan Urvita Shivaniman Krishna Paramahamsa Namo Gorkishoraya Bhaktavadutam Gorangi Hare Bhakti Shri Bhakti Samram Radharasa Sujanidim Gaura Rakshak Shire Vaishnava Jagannath
Krishna Bhaktavatam Namami Bhakta Satyam Namo Mahavaraya Krishna 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 Chaitanya Name Gaura Krishna Nama Jaya Saraswati Mama Gati Matsavasvaram Bhujam Radhamadam Diya Vrindarajya Sasta Sriganda Srimanami Sparami Viman Rasam Sita Varsam Venu Vanai Gopi Gopinata Sristuna Krishna Bhakti Pradevi Satyavati Namuni Maha Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hi, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya, Srila Bhakti Yoga Maharaja ki jai.
Jai
Pradhana ki jai.
Jai
Samavena Bhaktivedanta ki jai.
Jai
All devotees, glory to the worldwide devotees. All glory to the Sri ki jai.
Jai
Welcome back to the Hare. Cooperate.
Dandava.
Hare Hare.
Haribo Jai
Jai
Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj ki jai.
Jai
Welcome back.
Good to see you.
Uma Devi.
Dandot Pranam Maharaj.
Didi.
You're back in London now?
Yes, Maharaj. Yesterday I came back.
Okay. Safe and sound.
How are you, Maharaj?
I'm okay. Thank you. Everything was good? Your trip was nice?
Yes, Maharaj. Nice. It's very crowded, It's very hot. in
Yeah.
Jagannath Puri.
Shanta Maharaj got some fever.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah, Shant Maharaj called me afternoon. He told me.
But you're okay. You didn't get anything.
Me also, I was 1 week. I get sick, chest pain and back pain, shoulder pain. Yeah, because too much crowd in Jagannath Puri. Now I'm okay, Maharaj.
Lord Jagannath's blessing. So everything was, Shanta Maharaj was okay when you were there? Did you get
Yes,
a
Maharaj.
had a
Sant
chance?
Maharaj managing same like Acharya Maharaj. Like 400 devotee came from Navadvip. Like he manage everything, prasadam and transfer, bus and everything. Same like Acharya Maharaj. He manage everything.
Had a chance to speak to Maharaj? Did you have a chance to talk with him?
Who's Maharaj?
Shanta Maharaj, you had a chance to speak with him?
Yes, Maharaj.
Did you go to the Sringapali? No.
Yeah, he'll be back to the Singapore.
But you
But I didn't go.
you
I didn't go to just Jagannath Puri finish after I go to back home.
Okay. Where did you stay?
In where Maharaj? In
In Puri. Where did you
Puri, make it a hotel, book hotel everybody. And prasadam also they serving in the hotel.
Okay.
Maybe they cooking, yeah, cooking our devotees. And go everywhere. Then so every place they arrange the prasadam, breakfast, everything. Yes.
All right. Joy Jagannath.
So many devotees from now, Narsingapalli. Many devotees.
From where did they come?
I don't know, Maharaj. Maybe West Bengal. I don't know. So many
Yes,
coming with Shant Maharaj. Yes, so many people.
places, huh?
Sorry, Maharaj.
Many different places.
Yeah, many different things. From in South India, from Hyderabad.
From Vijayawada.
Yeah, Vijayawada devotees.
And from Navadvip, some devotees came.
Yeah.
Any
And
Western people came?
Western people, Australia, from Australia, one devotee. And yes, Maharaj. Yeah.
Okay, we were remembering you all this time. But then we're going to read from Prapanna-jivanamrtam today. Jayo Vishnupad, Paramahamsa Parivrajaka-charya, Astatana Sripad, Bhakti Yoga, Dev-Goswami Maharaja ki jai, Sri Prapanna-jivanamrtam ki jai.
Right.
We're in chapter 2, text 14. What page?
Page 23.
Page 23. Ahai Amrita Tatrvani Cha Tatrvan Cha Nishanka Chakrabad Chakrabad Chakrabja Karabhi Sarnginam Kajenra Ketum Vardam Priyapatim Samashrayante Abhabhitina Nashanam Vishambayam Nasti Vimukti Bhajam. Completely vanquishing all fear, surrender bestows the life of eternal nectar. Lord of the goddess of fortune, bears the conch shell, disc, lotus flower, and bow. He is the master of Garuda. He is the vanquisher of the fear of mundane existence. He is the bestower of all benedictions. No trace of apprehension remains for those who take refuge in him, since they qualify for positive immortality. So that place where all fear is vanquished, what is that called? You know? Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means, kunta means fear, anxiety, and vai means without. So Vaikuntha means the place that has no fear and anxiety. What is there to be fearful when immortality is there? When there is no death. Greatest fear here is death. Everyone is afraid they will die. Everyone wants to live, but we know that death has to come at any time. The goddess of fortune. Good fortune is always there. With who's the Lord of the goddess of fortune? What is the name? That is Vishnu, Lord Narayan. Huh? Narayan is the Lord, is the husband of the goddess of fortune. Means what? Goddess of fortune means that all good fortune comes his way. He is married to good fortune. So what bad things can happen there? Nothing. Has all good fortune, immortality, all benedictions. Goddess of fortune means all benedictions are there. So no apprehension, no fear, no anxiety. It's there for those who like them. That is the plane of positive immortality. One may think in this material world there is no such place. In this material world, we cannot find such a place here. So we may think, therefore, it does not exist. No one has experienced that here. But that plane does not exist in the material level. It exists in the spiritual plane. We have our spiritual nature within the conscious world, and the material nature is the surface, superficial side. Consciousness always has an object of consciousness. So there's the object side and the consciousness side. So the spiritual master and the devotees and the scriptures, they're always trying to push us into the conscious side, the conscious world. Don't focus so much on the outer world, but try to understand the conscious world, the inner perfection. It is there. Everyone has that. And somehow, those conditioned living entities, they become attached to the outer portion, outer surface light, and they neglect to be conscious of, become aware of, or to take notice of that spiritual part. So Gurudev and the Vaishnavas and the scriptures, they're all pushing us to that side, trying to become conscious of that world. And here is explained how beautiful that is. Without fear, without death, eternal. That world does exist. And we are members of that world. Krishna explains how to understand that. In the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Dehi don't spend your ta dehi, Prapanna-jivanamrtam. There is something besides this changing body. Everyone can see the body is changing, but there is an identity, an unchanging identity that's been there through all the changes of your body, even when you were a child, when you were a young person, when you're an adult, when you're an old person. There's something there that doesn't change. Your eternal identity. And Mahaprabhu tells us, what is that identity? That identity is an eternal servant of Krishna. Vivera, sorry, boy, Krishna Nityadas. That is that identity that is always there. The thing that we least expect, that is the eternal. I tell all the devotees that the present is always there. Throughout our life, there's always a present moment. We think the present vanishes, but it never vanishes. What vanishes are the temporal things, the past and the future. But now the present is always there. So we can capture that we can catch that thought. Then we will recognize what is it? What is our eternal nature? What is being eternal? This is not just a thought, and not just a philosophy. This is a reality anyone can experience by the grace of Krishna. If we apply ourselves to these principles, to these teachings, we can come to that realization. Realization means that becomes real for us. We don't have to just consider it only some high thought, not just thought. It's a living reality, and we are part of that. And we're always part of it. But we are not turning our attention. We have lost our attention to that plane of reality. And rather we are focused on the world, the changing world, of temporality. What is temporal does not last. We're so concerned with the things that do not last. What is the use? Something that is there today and gone tomorrow. We're concerned with those things. Why do you concern yourself with those things? You can concern yourself with what doesn't get lost, which is always there. That is the eternal identity of the soul. If you have a choice to focus on what is fleeting, what is there one day and gone the next, if you want to focus on that, and instead of focusing on what is there always, then you will be the loser. We choose to focus on that which is eternal, and that is the life of the devotee. Okay, text number 15. Sarvartha sadhakam, sarvartha sadhakapam, samsadesmin mahagore, mohadidra samakule, ye harim karanam yanti, te kritarta nasamsaya. With the Brihad Naradiya. A surrendered soul is successful in all endeavors. In the dense darkness of this material world, which is engulfed in ignorance and sleep, those who surrender unto the holy lotus feet of the Lord Hari are successful in all their endeavors. Of this there is no doubt. Endeavor, what does endeavor mean? Trying to get some result. Trying to get some result. That sounds like karma. Karma means to act to get some result. Yet the karmic person, the karmis, or even the jnanis, they are using their brain, their mind, to get some results, some knowledge. But devotee doesn't do those things. His only endeavor is to try to surrender to Krishna. Try to remember Krishna. When he is taken away from his thought of Krishna, then he tries to get back. Tries in all of his activities to remember that he is the eternal spirit. Nobody is successful in their endeavors in this world. If that were the case, if everybody could get whatever they want, then all would be billionaires. Right? Everybody wants to be rich, comfortable, luxurious life, beautiful women, beautiful associates, just enjoying a very luxurious life. These billionaires that are in the world, huh? They got these big yachts. Ever see them? Big boats. And they go sailing wherever they want to go. All the rich cities of the world, they can have whatever they want. So everyone wants that, but not everyone can get there. And those billionaires even, they can't get happiness. You can have happiness you can buy happiness. You can buy whatever you want, but happiness is not included in that. Because happiness means fulfillment. Fulfillment. And you cannot fulfill the spiritual need or spiritual life without engaging in spiritual activity. No amount of material activities can fulfill the spiritual aspirations of the human being. So all those endeavors outside of Krishna consciousness are useless, futile. But if a devotee practices the spiritual sadhana, endeavors for surrendering to Krishna, then Krishna gives his promise. Krishna sees, he knows, he's intelligent. Ye tamam prapadyante. He fulfills our desire. He rewards our endeavor. Ye tamam prapadyante. It's as you surrender to me, I will give you. I will reward you. Ultimately with his own presence, his own association, his own pastimes. And then we will understand what is seven. Sat-cit-ananda. There we will find eternity, bliss, and knowledge. So this is what is offered by the Supreme, guaranteed by the Supreme. So many people will tell us in this world, I give you a guarantee you do this, and I have a guarantee here for you. What guarantee? You may die tomorrow, then what is their guarantee going to be worth? Not that kind of guarantee. If Krishna gives his guarantee, if he gives his word, then we can accept that as the final. We can accept that with conviction. The Lord has promised us. We surrender to him. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshashrame mahāputra. We surrender to him, and he has promised this. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. I will finish all your karma. Papebhyo. All sinful activities. Just surrender to me. And mokshashrame. And I give you freedom from this world. And then he says, Mahāputra, don't worry. You don't have to worry. You can trust my word. No one can counter the Supreme Lord. Because his word, no one can divert that. We trust Krishna's word. Text number 16. Ajatadriyanam api Shivadattam Indurapadanam Tesham Pumshram Udama Chetasam Yar Ashritas Tirtapadas Narano Vyasanatgaya from the Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, 3rd canto, 23rd chapter, 42nd verse. By surrender, even persons of uncontrolled senses attain all good fortune. So the lotus feet of Lord Hari vanquish material existence. By surrendering unto his lotus feet, nothing remains difficult to achieve, even for a person of agitated mind. This is the cure-all. You know, this word panacea. I've heard of this word panacea. It means it cures everything. You can't say that, oh, I'm a very fallen soul. How I can get Krishna's mercy. No, that is your qualification. That is the meaning of Krishna's. That even you are fallen soul, even if you have no qualification, still we are capable. Still, Krishna is capable of giving his mercy to us. He wants to give his mercy. And he's always giving his mercy to us. It's not that sometimes he's giving and sometimes he is not. Krishna is always a reservoir of all love, all pleasure. It's not his problem, it's our problem that we are not reciprocating that. We think in so many other ways, we ignore that love that he is so freely giving. I want to run here and there, trying to find something, trying to find love and recognition or whatever. But the Supreme Lord himself is always giving that to living entity. Has an eternal relationship with us, just as we have an eternal relationship with him. But the problem is something comes in the middle between us and him. And that is ignorance or misunderstanding. That's it. When Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami, Srivara Swarupoi Krishnara Nityadas, you are the eternal servant of Krishna, that finishes it. You are the eternal servant. So what is the question of having some disconnection from Krishna, of not being a servant? That is only our misunderstanding of what is our eternal nature. So surrender is not something we have to do, or service to Krishna is not something we have to do, it's something we have to be. We are service of Krishna. That is what we have to remember and be. You don't have to do, but it's not something you have to do, that's something you are. You wear Krishna dance. Or Krishnara Nityananda. That is our true identity, and simply to accept that. That's why Krishna doesn't say you have to do anything else but surrender. Surrender to what you are. The truth is not something you have to manufacture, not something you have to think about or whatever. It's already there. It's always there, eternally. That is what is. Truth means that what is. That which is. That's the truth. So that is always there. It's our ability to see, to understand it, to conceive it properly. That is Srila Maharaj would often talk about proper conception. We have to get a proper conception. Presently, we're under misconception. We have to try to develop a proper conception. We can do that by associating with the devotees, reading the scriptures, engaging in the activities of devotional service. And that helps us to bring us that proper conception, to clarify and purify our ignorance. That much we can do. But then ultimately, we have to be that. That has to be our life, an eternal service. That's all. Be who you are. Be who you are. Be. Krishna. Why does it say here, even persons of uncontrolled senses? That means a wild sense enjoyer. Even a wild sense enjoyer, they can become a good person. I surrender to this. How is that possible? What do you say, Haridan? How is it possible for a person who doesn't control his senses? Even they can become devotees. How is that possible? What do you think?
It's not possible sense control for only for me and my mind. It's not possible. Only is possible for grace, the Guru and Vaishnava. Only for grace, the spiritual master is possible control. For my effort is not possible. Only for grace, Mara. I think that. Only for grace the Guru.
Yeah. Well, we have many, we're all very unqualified. We're all sense gratifiers to some extent. Uncontrolled sense, we all are guilty of that. And what this verse is saying, but if we surrender to Guru, we surrender to Guru and Krishna, then those things are not, will be overcome. Huh? Why? I may be a very fallen person, but if I'm trying to carry out the wishes of Gurudev, and Gurudev is a pure soul, then I'm getting the benefit. When we offer prasad to Krishna, we first offer to Gurudev. We don't offer directly to Krishna. Why? Because my service is corrupt. My service is not pure. But by offering it to Gurudev, he offers it to Krishna. And thereby my service becomes connected to the spiritual plane. And if I can maintain that kind of connection, recognizing my own inability, my own disqualification to serve, to offer anything to the higher world from my lowly position, but used as the intermediary, not pure devotee, the devotee who has the ability to serve them. And then automatically I am connected with that. And what is this? And what is this verse saying? And by that process, that person will become purified. Tains all good fortune. So that is our process. We never feel ourselves qualified in the service of Guru, in the service of Guru. We're not capable of it. But we have a spiritual master who we have faith in, who is qualified to serve the Lord purely. Or through the disciplic succession. My Guru is serving his Guru, who's serving his Guru, was ultimately in the Param process of serving Krishna, Brahma, and so forth. They're serving Krishna. And so by following that line of serving the servant of the servants, eventually it gets to Krishna. And therefore, even we may be unfollowed because we're surrendering to Krishna, because we're following the instruction and the desire to please the instruction of Guru, we are getting the benefit of that connection. Govinda Maharaj says the disciplic succession is like having a pack of leaves. You know, you have put a whole bunch of leaves together and put a pin through one leaf, or go through all of the leaves. All the leaves. So Guru Prabhupada is like that. We are only having one Guru, but he is connected with all the Gurus in our Varga. So by serving Gurudev, we are serving everyone who is serving Krishna. And in that way, we are connected with the Supreme Lord. And in that way, our service becomes something of benefit to us. To surrender has to be through surrender. And just that surrender, that acceptance, that obedience, that humility before Gurudev, that is the key. That removes the whole egoistic domain of existence. Without Guru, we are simply living according to our own ego, the dictates of our own mind. I accept only what my mind tells me. That means I accept my mind as God. If we accept that God has his own mind, and that we want to do what he wants, that is surrender. And that mind of the Lord comes through the mind of Guru. So this is a very scientific process. If we can understand it and follow it, we will get that benefit. Very good. This is the process given in the scripture, given by Krishna, to vanquish our materialism, to vanquish our false ego, and come to our true identity, again, as Krishna and Nityadas, as the eternal servants of Krishna. That's our goal. To recognize what we are, to be what we are. And not so difficult, actually. Not difficult to understand, at least difficult to do, but it's not difficult to understand. And yet it's very, seems very unusual, a very strange way of living, to tell someone to surrender to someone else other than yourself, and to do what they say, to do what they do, to become a servant, to become a slave. That's very unusual in this world. Everyone thinks, oh, you have to do what you who you are. Act independently. Don't rely on somebody else. Be yourself, the leader. You don't need any dog eat dog world. That's not spiritual. Spiritual life, especially Vaishnavism, is that we appreciate the value of others, the value of Vaishnavas, and we want to serve them. Dr. Ross, you'll come in the watch room. That's number 17. There you are. Oh,
Dandava,
I'm
Prabhu.
just doing other services right now, but I want to tune in as much as I can. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you.
thank you, Prabhu. We're
Dandava.
so happy when we see you. I know you are there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Text number 17. Samsara klesha haripam Sharira manasa divya Vayase ye cha manusha Bhaktikascha katam klesha Bharan hari samshrayam Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter, canto 3, text 22,
Chapter 22.
yeah, chapter 22, text 37. All worldly suffering is vanquished for the surrendered soul. O Vidura, how can a person who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Hari be stricken with bodily and mental tribulation arising from the elements of the person or favorable astrological circumstances? These three kleshas, or these miseries of the world are explained as
Atmika,
what is it?
Adi Atmika, Adi Daivika, and Adi Bhadika.
Huh?
Adi Atmika, Adi Daivika, and Atmi Bodhika.
Bodhika. Yeah. These three mean the elements, other persons, and astrological, your zodiac. But that's called Daivika, Adi Daivika. The elements, the forces of the universe. That's the Daivika, the demigods. Adhyatmika means your own mind. Your own mind is your worst enemy sometimes.
That's other souls.
No, then Adibodhika.
Ah.
Adibodhika means others.
Ah.
Mosquitoes or other people. These can give problem to us. Your own mind can give problem to you, mental disturbance. And then the demigods, or the zodiac, their planets, universal forces, Mother Nature. These can all give difficulty to us. So this is saying, how can a person who has taken shelter of Hari be stricken with these three miseries?
not Goswami has too.
Why am I suffering the threefold visitors? Mahaprabhu explained that suffering is due to the three material modes of nature: sattva, rajas, and tama. Who is living under the influence of sattva, raja, tama, of passion, ignorance, and goodness? These types of persons will suffer these three types of issues. How to get out of that influence of the three modes of material nature? But this is Mama Maya Duratyaya. It's very difficult to cross beyond this Mayic influence. Mayic is directed by the three modes of nature. Very difficult to do that. But he gives a solution also. By surrendering to me, by surrendering to my devotee, then you can get beyond that. Those three miseries will not affect a devotee. There are so many problems in the world. Political, disease, weather problems, pollution,
Environmental.
environmental crisis. So many problems. And people are very disturbed by all those things. But a devotee can peacefully deal with all those things. Because he's always thinking of Krishna. And how he can serve Krishna, serve the devotees. And that's his only concern. He doesn't have to concern himself with all those other problems. He already knows the solution to all of this. Therefore, they're not problems for him. To overcome those problems is to surrender to Krishna. That's all. To chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And Prabhupada would say. Immediately, the problems of the material world are solved, resolved. Of course, doesn't mean those problems not cease to exist, but they're not disturb the devotee. Somehow, devotee understands that Krishna is in charge of everything. Everything is going on by his grace, for his purposes, punishing and rewarding living entities according to their activities. So devotee is not callous to those things, but he tries to encourage those suffering under those conditions to kindly take to the service of the Lord and relieve themselves of all those anxieties. He doesn't come to give them comfort. Oh, I know how bad it is. I know how you are feeling, and I commiserate with you. That's very nice. Like, in this world, I know when some tragedy occurs to someone, they say our prayers and thoughts are with you. And people say, well, I don't want your prayers and thoughts. Such and such thing happened, and I have to deal with that. And what are you going to do about it? Not like that. That's not compassion. That's stupidity. To give a real solution, yes, the solution to all these things is you have to surrender to it. You have to chant Hare Krishna. You come back, go back to home, back to Godhead, where all these things do not afflict you. At least you can give them something positive. Although they might not take it in a proper way, because they are so enmeshed in their whatever, their anxiety and their misconception. But at least we have something to say that will be a benefit, and not simply say, yes, I'll pray for you, or I'll think about you. Here's your good advice. Come, take what Krishna says in the Gita, take it seriously. Take the teachings of Mahaprabhu seriously and rectify your heart, rectify your life, and become sad, become blissful, and achieve your immortal place. Recognize your immortal place as to what you really are. Eternal servant of this kingdom. And good philosophy, good teachings. Very scientific, very simple. If we could just meditate on these simple things, practice that. Great benefit to ourselves. Ourselves who are willing to hear these things. We are willing to consider these. And very fortunate. We can preach these things to others also. But whether they are willing to consider it, what does people do with it? That is another thing. Still, that is our duty. Reach. Study also for ourselves. To remind ourselves of these things, and then to remind others. And we pray others will also understand. Get free from the misconceptions of material life. Evil. I humble dandavats to all. People in and now. Please be well. Keep safe. My love to you.
Dandava Pranam Maharaj. I love you.
Dandava Pranam Prabhuji, Dandava.
Dandava Maharaj. Devotee Dandava. Madevi Dandava.
Dandava Pranam Prabhuji, Dandava.
Happy to see you today.